Hey everyone, welcome back. If you're anything like me, you've probably spent way too many hours climbing the Marvel Snap ladder, tweaking your decks, and trying to outsmart that one annoying Galactus player. But let's be real, the real magic of Marvel Snap isn't just the flashy effects or the quick matches, it's the constantly evolving metagame. Every week there's a new card, balance patches drop like clockwork, and suddenly that one deck you thought was dead is making a massive comeback. It's wild out there. That's why today we're diving into the top 30 decks you need to know right now. These aren't just any random builds, we're talking about the most dominant, creative, or just plain fun combos that are actually climbing to infinite. The game isn't just about pumping out high power anymore, it's all about clever counterplays and surprise moves that leave your opponents scratching their head. So whether you're trying to find your new main or just love seeing the latest spicy list, you're in the right place. Let's jump in. I'm quickly moving on to the video and I'm ranking decks in Marvel Snap. Before we start, if you enjoy these types of tier list videos, don't forget to like the video and subscribe. Enjoy watching.
My friends, only 0.1% of viewers subscribe. If you like this type of content, please do not forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you in advance for your support.
The decks in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Bast, Daredevil, and Ebony Maw. Oh boy, if you've ever looked at a deck and thought, maybe this could work if the stars align and my opponent disconnects, then welcome to the D tier, the dusty basement of Marvel Snap. These decks are either long past their prime or were never even invited to the party to begin with. And let's be honest, with the current state of the meta evolving faster than Loki on caffeine, these guys don't stand a chance. Let's start with the Bast deck. Now, on paper, it's got some real potential. Bast, Cerebro, Ravonna Renslayer, Quake, US Agent, Scarlet Witch, Sentinel, Mystique, Luke Cage, Red Guardian, Valkyrie, and Iron Man. The dream is simple. Cerebro boosts all your cards with the same power. The nightmare? Locations. So many locations in this game love to mess with power values, which just torpedoes this strategy. One weird lane and suddenly, you're crying in the corner with your Mystique combo ruined and Cerebro looking like a clueless mascot. Next up, the Daredevil deck. This one used to be the king of making your opponent miserable, but after recent nerfs to Sentry and Annihilus, it's more like a sad clown at a kid's birthday party. The deck includes the Hood, Titania, Nebula, Daredevil, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, Green Goblin, Debris, Viper, Sentry, Itsushi, Annihilus, Cersei, and Cannonball. It's trying to be a junk deck, you know, clogging your opponent's board with useless cards, but now it's just junk. Literally, like you opened your collection, threw a bunch of annoying cards together, and hoped for the best. And finally, let's pour one out for the Ebony Maw Lockdown deck. This deck is trying to keep the opponent locked out of key lanes using Zabu, Ebony Maw, Psylocke, Jeff the Baby Landshark, Doom 2099, Storm, Iron Lad, War Machine, Legion, Professor X, Doctor Doom, and the Infinite. Sounds powerful, right? Well, only if your opponent's entire plan relies on one big turn 6 play. Otherwise, you're stuck watching them dance around your lockdown plays while your Iron Lad flips into Luke Cage or something equally useless. It's like showing up to a sword fight with a spoon. So yeah, if you're the kind of player who enjoys a challenge, a little pain, and watching perfectly good strategies crumble because a squirrel showed up in the wrong lane, D tier is your new home. But hey, at least it builds character, right? The decks in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Sunspot, Wasp, Iron Fist, and US Agent. If you've ever tried to win a sword fight with a spoon, then you already know what it feels like to play one of these C tier decks in Marvel Snap. Let's be real, these poor souls used to have their moment in the spotlight, but now they're mostly just here to pad out your bot farming stats. Sure, they've still got personality, but power? Not so much. Let's talk about the high evolutionary Sunspot deck first. We're running with Sunspot, Misty Knight, Armor, Scorpion, Shocker, Cyclops, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, The Thing, High Evolutionary, Abomination, and Hulk. It's probably the most budget-friendly option in the game, and High Evolutionary gives your vanilla cards a bit of a glow-up. But the problem is, this deck feels like it's trying to win a marathon with flip-flops. It's incredibly predictable, has a low ceiling, and once your opponent figures it out, which takes about 5 seconds, you're toast. Then there's the She-Naught deck, which tries to go big or go home. This one includes Wasp, Sunspot, Misty Knight, Armor, Jeff the Baby Landshark, Magic, Cyclops, Moongirl, High Evolutionary, Abomination, She-Hulk, and the Infinite. The idea is to slam down massive power into 2 lanes and pray your opponent doesn't have a Shang-Chi up their sleeve. Spoiler alert, they do. If they drop it on the wrong lane, you might still have a chance. If they drop it on the right lane, well, time to emote and retreat. Now brace yourself, because we're diving into the nostalgia pool with the classic move deck. We're talking Human Torch, Iron Fist, Ghost Spider, Forge, Doctor Strange, Hulkbuster, Kraven, Multiple Man, Cloak, Vulture, Vision, and Heimdall. This deck used to be a work of art, complicated, stylish, full of combo potential. These days though, it's a Rube Goldberg machine that builds 20 power while your opponent dumps 40 on the board with half the effort. And if you're thinking about reviving it, maybe just play Move Bounce instead, trust me. And finally, we've got the US Agent Tech deck. This one features Zabu, Shadow King, US Agent, Luke Cage, Mobius M, Mobius, Killmonger, Galactus. Yes, that's not a typo. Man-Thing, Shang-Chi, Enchantress, Ms. Marvel, and Sierra. On paper, it's brilliant, counter everything, disrupt your opponent, feel like a genius. In practice though, you're playing whack-a-mole while they're playing Tetris with explosive blocks. The tech is clever, but clever doesn't always cut it when your opponent is vomiting 60 power across 3 lanes. So yeah, C-tier decks aren't completely hopeless, you can still hit infinite with them, if you're farming bots, dodging meta decks, and maybe playing while Mercury is in retrograde. But let's be honest, these decks are basically the dad genes of Marvel Snap. Comfortable, familiar, but definitely not turning any heads in 2025. The decks in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Scorn, Yondu, Zero, Dazzler, Deadpool, Psylocke, Human Torch, Titania, Howard the Duck. Oh boy, here we go. Welcome to the B-tier buffet, where the decks are spicy, but the aftertaste? Kinda burnt. These are the Marvel Snap decks that walk into battle with swagger, only to realize halfway through that their shoelaces are untied. Let's dive into the chaos and check out why these decks are the definition of close but no vibranium. Let's start with Scorn. This deck features cards like Blade, Morbius, Colleen Wing, Gambit, Corvus Glaive, Lady Sif, Dracula, Proxima Midnight, MODOK, Khonshu, and Apocalypse. It's your standard discard package with a dark and moody vibe. Very much emo, but make it effective. The power ceiling is impressive. Apocalypse can get huge, Dracula can clutch the final lane, but compared to decks like Hella Discard or even the mid-range discard archetypes, this one just doesn't have the same dramatic flair. It's like watching a vampire soap opera and realizing you've seen this episode before. Now let's talk about Yondu, the deck, not the dude. This one's rocking the hood. Yondu, Cable, Iron Patriot, Killmonger, Red Guardian, Baron Zemo, Gladiator, Shang-Chi, Misery, Lady Deathstrike, and Death. It's a mill deck that slowly chips away at your opponent's win condition, one soul-crushing top deck at a time. Against combo-heavy lists, it's a nightmare. But if your opponent draws just okay, not even great, suddenly your entire plan collapses like a wet cake. And against Thanos or Arishem decks, you might as well be throwing peanuts at a tank. Ah yes, Zero. No, not the number. The deck. It includes Zabu, Zero, Iron Patriot, Cosmo, Juggernaut, Surtur, Starbrand, Atuma, Crossbones, Cull Obsidian, Typhoid Mary, and Scar. You'd think a deck with that much raw power could just stomp over everyone, but recent nerfs to Surtur and Scar hit it hard, like waking up after a night out and checking your bank account hard. It can still hit some ridiculous numbers, but with Sauron doing the same job cleaner and meaner, you're left asking yourself why you picked the budget option. Okay. Dazzler is next. We're looking at a deck list featuring Zabu, Dazzler, Mystique, Luke Cage, Patriot, Super Skrull, Doom 2099, Iron Lad, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Doctor Doom, and Ultron. It's basically a Patriot shell with Ultron finishing moves. Very plug and play, but here's the kicker. It's predictable. So predictable in fact that even my cat knows where Ultron is going to land. One Enchantress or Killmonger and boom, you've got 3 lanes full of tiers instead of drones. Deadpool Destroy enters the ring with Deadpool, Nico Minoru, X-23, Carnage, Hulkbuster, Wolverine, Killmonger, Venom, Deathlock, Arnim Zola, Null, and Death. It's simple, classic, effective, and unfortunately, very obvious. Everyone knows the playline: buff Deadpool, destroy Deadpool, profit. Problem is, with how popular it is, even your grandma knows how to counter it. Unless you're doing Galaxy Brain Venom Zola lines, this one might leave you holding L's. Let's talk about Psylocke, the deck, not just the card. With Ravonna Renslayer, Ironheart, Mystique, Sage, Magic, Mr. Negative, Wong, Iron Man, Jane Foster, Gore the God Butcher, and Taskmaster, This deck is all about early Mr. Negative. Hit him early, you're golden. Miss that window, you might as well be flipping cards with your eyes closed. It's an all eggs in one Mr. Negative basket strategy, and as we all know, baskets tend to drop. Next on the chopping block, Human Torch. This one brings the heat with Arana, Human Torch, Nico Minoru, Carnage, Hulkbuster, Multiple Man, Venom, Deathlock, Shuri, Phoenix Force, Nimrod, and Arnim Zola. It's a Movement Phoenix hybrid deck that's either absolute fire or a complete backfire. Draw Phoenix Force on time, and you're styling. Miss it, and you're just doing interpretive dance with Multiple Man and hoping for mercy. Oh, Titania. She's in a deck with the Hood, Nebula, Titania, Grandmaster, Hawkeye, and Kate Bishop, Green Goblin, Magic, Debris, Viper, Shang-Chi, Cannonball, and Alioth. This is a clog deck. You know, the kind that says, you shall not play. It's fun, until it's not. While it can mess with even top tier decks, its cube gain is low because your opponent usually sees the cheese coming and simply dips out. It's like setting a trap in plain sight. Clever, but not clever enough. Finally, we've got Howard the Duck. Yes, seriously, this Tribunal deck runs Ravonna Renslayer, Magic, Mystique, Jubilee, Super Scroll, Iron Lad, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Sarah, Onslaught, and the Living Tribunal. On paper, it's majestic, evenly spreading over far to power across all lanes, but in reality, it's a sitting duck, pun intended, for Cosmo, Enchantress, Alioth, you name it. It's like bringing a glass cannon to a demolition derby. So, there you have it. These decks are all viable. Sure, they can win games, but in a world filled with top tier monsters and meta gods, they've got to work twice as hard just to break even. You're not trolling if you play them, you're just living dangerously. And honestly, that's kind of beautiful. The decks in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Arana, Shadow King, Blade, Nico Minoru, Goliath, Zabu, Grandmaster, and the Hood. You know that feeling when you think you've cooked the perfect pasta only to realize you forgot the salt? That's kind of what A-tier decks in Marvel Snap feel like. They're incredibly close to greatness, sometimes even beating the top dogs, but there's always one little thing holding them back. Still, don't underestimate these decks. They can swipe cubes from unsuspecting opponents faster than Quicksilver on a caffeine rush. Let's kick things off with Arana, the queen bee of the move archetype. This deck feels like playing 4D chess while on a roller coaster. With Arana, Ghost Spider, Human Torch, Iron Fist, Madame Web, Dagger, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, Vulture, Frigga, and Beast. You're constantly thinking 3 turns ahead. The reward? Watching your scalers like Vulture, Dagger, and Human Torch hit 20 power or more. The downside? If you mess up your timing even slightly, you're as graceful as a rhino on roller skates. Next up, Shadow King, or as I like to call it, Tech Soup with a side of chaos. This deck is a tech lover's paradise, packing Shadow King, Killmonger, Mobius M, Mobius, Doom 2099, Shang-Chi, Galacta, Enchantress, Legion, Doctor Doom, Alioth, Mockingbird, and Arishem. Despite Arishem taking a beating from the Nerf hammer, the deck still thrives thanks to its unmatched flexibility. You want disruption? You got it. You want unpredictability? Say no more. Your opponent won't know what hit them, mostly because you didn't either. Blade is here to remind us all that sometimes, chaos is the plan. This discard and Hela Resurrection deck includes Blade, Morbius, Black Cat, Lady Sif, Jubilee, Iron Man, Blink, Gore the God Butcher, Healer, the Infinite, Scar, and Death. It's dramatic, it's risky, and when you pull Hela at the right moment, it's chef's kiss. Bonus fun, you can snap like you've drawn her even when you haven't, and watch your opponent retreat out of sheer panic. Bluffing at its finest. Then we've got the Nico Minoru deck, a delightful twist on the classic Zoo archetype. Cards like Ant-Man, Nico Minoru, Squirrel Girl, Dazzler, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, Marvel Boy, Kyera, Shanna, Kazar, Blue Marvel, Gilgamesh, and Mockingbird make it a cost-effective, wide-spreading powerhouse. It's like having a full dance floor at all times. There's just so much happening, and all of it's groovy. Plus, it's super customizable, making it perfect for players who want to tweak and tinker without breaking the bank. Goliath is where the ongoing archetype flexes its muscles, literally. With Ant-Man, Goliath, Sam Wilson, Cosmo, Captain America, Speed, Doom 2099, Super Scroll, Iron Man, Blue Marvel, Doctor Doom, and Spectrum, this deck just keeps stacking that ongoing synergy until it snowballs into absurd amounts of power. Sam Wilson and Goliath bring new flavor, finally making ongoing decks feel like they've hit their full potential. It's the broccoli of the Snap meta. Good for you, a bit predictable, but surprisingly satisfying when you spice it right. Moving on to Zabu, where you get big boys with big power and very little downside. Featuring Zabu, Zero, Ebony Maw, Sauron, Armor, Lizard, Starbrand, Enchantress, Cull Obsidian, Typhoid Mary, Red Skull, and Scar, this deck is a brute force machine. Thanks to Sauron wiping away those pesky on-reveal effects and Starbrand slamming down with 10 power at just 3 cost, you're punching hard and fast. Shang-Chi is your only real threat, but let's be honest, you've got enough raw strength to eat that punch and still win the match. Grandmaster decks are the cool kids of the Silver Surfer party, with Zabu, Grandmaster, Sam Wilson, Cassandra Nova, Brood, Silver Surfer, Cosmo, Juggernaut, Red Guardian, Sebastian Shaw, Galacta, and Gwenpool. This deck is a 3-cost fiesta that pumps power like nobody's business. It's got everything: swarm potential, disruption tools, and stylish plays. Silver Surfer just loves new toys, and Grandmaster brought the whole toy store to the battlefield. Lastly, we've got the Hood, a dynamic and cheeky little number that thrives on options. With the Hood, Nico Minoru, Quinjet, Mirage, Hawkeye Kate Bishop, Victoria Hand, Agent Coulson, Frigga, Shang-Chi, Anti-Venom, and Misery, you're always adjusting mid-game. Want more demons? Done. Want to go big with multiple Victoria Hands? Easy. It's a shapeshifter that rewards smart thinking. Just watch out for common counters like Killmonger and Red Guardian, because they can rain on your parade real fast. So while these decks aren't quite sipping champagne in the S tier, they've definitely earned their spot at the high stakes table. And hey, sometimes winning with a flawed deck is way more satisfying than rolling through with a meta monster, right? The decks in this tier are, in order from top left to bottom right, Ant-Man, Silver Sable, Korg, Miki, Kitty Pryde, and Nebula deck. If you're tired of seeing the same old decks that get you nowhere fast, it's time to take a look at some of the top tier strategies that are absolutely crushing it in Marvel Snap's high infinite ranks. Forget about the fluff. We're talking about decks that have it all: power, consistency, and a little bit of sass to throw your opponent off their game. First up, let's dive into the Ant-Man deck. Now, if you've been around the Snap scene long enough, you know that the Thanos deck is practically legendary, but with some strategic tweaks, it's back and better than ever. This version leverages the Infinity Stones, which pump up Thanos in ways that feel borderline unfair. Toss in Wiccan for some extra magic, and you've got yourself a deck that's not just about brute force, but also about control. Ant-Man, Dazzler, Goliath, Sam Wilson, Speed Size Speed, Cosmo, Mobius M, Mobius, Wiccan, Blue Marvel, Thanos, Mockingbird, and Spectrum all work in perfect harmony. It's like a symphony of destruction, and believe me, your opponent won't know what hit them. Next, we've got Silver Sable. And let me tell you, this deck is a beast when it comes to win rate and cube rate. Consistency is the name of the game here, and it's one of those decks that's always working behind the scenes, slowly stacking up the advantage. With the likes of Silver Sable, Hazmat, Sam Wilson, Scorpion, Cassandra Nova, Rocket and Groot, Red Guardian, Miles Morales, High Evolutionary, Man-Thing, Ajax, and Abomination, this deck doesn't just rely on brute power. Instead, it's got that sick affliction mechanic that chips away at your opponent's game plan while you steadily take control. The best part? It's got one glaring weakness: Luke Cage. But hey, that's easily counterable. Then there's the Korg deck, which is basically the antithesis of everything the meta stands for. If you're looking for a deck that just disrupts your opponent's plans at every turn, Korg has got you covered. Master Mold, Gorgon, Grandmaster, Cassandra Nova, Mystique, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, Rockslide, Darkhawk, and Ronan the Accuser form an absolutely terrifying combo. Darkhawk in particular absolutely wrecks Thanos, Agamotto, and Arashim, while Ronan the Accuser punishes any deck relying on card generation. Your opponent will be left scrambling for answers as you slowly dismantle their strategy, one card at a time. Let's talk about the Meek deck. Discard decks have been around for a while, but with Meek, Scorn, Blade, Morbius, The Collector, Swarm, Colleen Wing, Bullseye, Gambit, Dakin, Frigga, and MODOK, this archetype has reached new heights. Meek's addition really kicks things up a notch, turning those discard mechanics into a well-oiled machine. Morbius and the Collector get supercharged by Bullseye, and suddenly you're pumping out power like it's nothing. It's a deck that can easily take over locations if left unchecked, and let's just say your opponent will feel the sting before they even know what happened. Now, onto the Kitty Pryde deck. This one is all about scaling from the early game to the mid game with some serious power plays. Kitty Pryde, the Hood, Bast, Nico Minoru, Havoc, Fina, Agent Venom, Sam Wilson, Cassandra Nova, Sage, Cosmo, and Juggernaut all come together to form a deck that is lethal in its own right. Early game scalers like Havoc and Sage allow you to get ahead early, while mid-range powerhouses let you secure lanes for the long haul. If you've got Agent Venom on the field, well, good luck to anyone trying to keep up. And then we have the Nebula deck, which is a nightmare for anyone relying on move mechanics or Sam Wilson. Nebula, Scream, Kraven, Sam Wilson, Spider-Man, Rocket and Groot, Red Guardian, Polaris, Miles Morales, Stegron, Ajax, and Cannonball are all part of this highly disruptive, toxic combo. You're not just hitting hard, you're controlling the flow of the game and restricting your opponent's moves at every turn. This deck is a beast when it comes to taking down combos and giving you full control of the board. It's one of those decks where your opponent's frustration will quickly turn to disbelief. To wrap it all up, these decks aren't just about playing cards, they're about playing your opponent. Whether you're crushing them with consistent afflictions, throwing off their tempo with crazy combos, or simply overpowering them with devastating strategies, these decks are designed for players who want to win, and win big. So if you're looking to climb the ladder, take notes, and maybe try out a few of these decks, your opponents will never see it coming. The video ends here. See you in another video. Don't forget to subscribe.